Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And where are we today, Corinne?
Today we are in Zion National Park, and it's early February.
Yes, so it's a beautiful day here. We have no clouds, but what we're doing today is shooting some reflections, and hopefully we'll get some nice reflected light and some nice golden light on the canyons for a nice golden hour sunset shot.
Yeah, we're going to be doing sunsets. We're here in the late afternoon. We're taking a little walk around to do some looks at the Riverwalk just to kill some time and maybe see what's out here because we rarely come out this far. And then I think we'll be heading over to the Canyon Junction and do a picture of the Watchman.
So that's what we're looking forward to doing, and let's get started. Hi folks, so Corinne and I have gone out for a little walk, get a little exercise, and we happened to come across this beautiful scene behind me here. It has a little waterfall followed by a shelf with snow on it, and the water has seeped into the rocks above, which gives it a beautiful color. I don't have a wide angle lens with me today, so I'm using my usual kit lens at about 26 millimeters, and I'm building a vertical panorama to capture this beautiful scene. A couple things you have to remember is to make sure you get your camera nice and level, and then you also need to make sure that you're shooting on manual mode, or you can sometimes use aperture priority if the light is very even where you're shooting. If there's changes in the light, you need to use manual. Otherwise, you can sometimes get away with aperture priority. I'm using aperture priority right now because, frankly, it just works. So what I've done is I've taken a portrait orientation series of shots going up the canyon, and then I switched it and took a series of landscape shots going up the canyon. The reason is I'm not sure in the composition how much I want of this big tree that's over on my right, your left, and whether or not I'd like to have that out of the picture. So it gives me the opportunity to make that choice later on. And finally, make sure you get a good focus on every shot going up. That's also another little tip. Nothing's worse than putting a panorama together and have one of the photographs that's out of focus. So it should have a nice sharp focus all the way up.
Well, we reached the end of the trail for the Riverwalk at the end of the paved portion, and we reach the river here. It narrows in the canyon, and there's this beautiful golden reflection on the river water right now. And Shawn is just taking a couple shots to capture that reflection. You have to watch out because the peak back here is very brightly lit. In fact, it's so well lit that it looks like part of the sky. Let's see if I can get it in here. No, it's just too bright to show you.
In addition to the reflections on the water, there was this very cool icy wall that was capturing the color off the water. And I thought it would make a really good subject for a photograph.
sunset tonight, Shawn and I decided to split up. He's working at the Canyon Junction Bridge, which is a very iconic location. Lots of photographers like to work there. Unfortunately, because of the danger of the traffic and no sidewalk at that location, the Park Service is a little reluctant to have people work in that location. So I've come along the walking trail that leads from the visitor center up to Canyon Junction and taken a little side route that's just down from a bridge to try and get a perspective where you wouldn't get the ire of the Park Service by taking a picture. So just behind me, over my shoulder there, you'll see Watchman, which is one of the iconic peaks in the park. And I am here by the Virgin River that's flowing pretty well. And I'm using that river as a leading line, which is similar to a view you can get from on the bridge. So I'm going to take this lower picture and then we'll be able to compare it to Shawn's. Here you can see the setup on my camera. I've gone with a portrait orientation or tall orientation. I've minimized the sky because there's not a lot of cloud interest. And I've used the river here leading up to the Watchman. My picture has a tree right below the peak of the Watchman. And that's working out okay here in the winter because there's no leaves on the tree. But this would not be so good if there were leaves on the cottonwood trees here. And I'll just show you a picture from here so you can see. And just the last light is on the side of the Watchman. We're getting close to sunset. Zoom in a bit. And you can see that tree that I'm talking about that's got a fork in it. It's kind of framing the peak right now. But in the summertime, when there's a lot more leaves on there, that would probably cover up most of the interesting rock formation.
So Corinne and I are doing something interesting tonight. We're both shooting this scene, but she's shooting it from about 20 feet below me on the path, and I'm shooting it from up here on the side of the bridge. And it's a beautiful location, beautiful shot. I've forgotten the name of the formation. I'll put that above here when I prepare the video. So my shot is pretty straightforward. Let's see, I'll show you the back of the camera here. There we go. My shot's very straightforward, using the greenery here to frame the shot, but otherwise it's just a pretty much straightforward shot of the mountain. Really the trick tonight is going to be able to keep everything well lit. It's extremely bright above the mountain. I'm going to have to use a filter to bring that in a little bit. So I'm using a 4-stop soft edge filter to bring in the sky a little bit, make the sky a little less bright, but still keep the mountain nice and bright. The trees are very, very shadowed, and I may do some HDR shots to just give me a little bit more depth. Bring up something so I can bring up the shadows later on in these trees while I'm using the tree to sort of frame the shot. I've come back to my shooting location for this shot. The light has changed quite a bit. We're now down to just a little bit of light on the face of the mountain and curling around just a touch. It's really quite beautiful. I've also changed the way I'm shooting the photograph. I've now gone to a portrait orientation because it's a pretty tight shot and it really looks good that way. I'm pretty much using HDR on every shot right at the moment, primarily because The light is extreme. There's an extreme difference between the trees down here and the sky above the mountain here. So I'm now probably shooting over a range of 2 stops down and then 2 stops above what I consider to be about the right, the correct exposure. One of the things I like to do when I'm in a location like this is try a number of different compositions, each of which are just slightly different. This could really help later on when you're putting your picture together and you realize that the trees don't make a good frame, or there's just too much variation in it. It just gives you some options later on. And so since I'm not going to be here for a while, I've given myself as many compositions and slight variations on compositions that I can. That also includes moving your camera around. So I've moved my camera a couple feet to the left and a couple feet to the right, trying to make sure that I'm getting the best picture I can with as few branches from the trees intersecting the picture as I can. It's about 10 minutes now after the sunset, and I'm just hanging in here to see if we get any color in the sky at all a little after sunset. It's not clear that we will, but I'm going to hang in here for a little while and see if we do. So I just ran up the road to catch this other scene. It probably is a little too bright in the camera here. Let me show you the back of my camera. It's a beautiful shot with the moon and the peak, one dark and one still brightly lit. I think it'll take a lot of work in Lightroom to actually get this to a place where I like the sort of light balance, or white balance and light balance in this whole shot. So anyway, it's a pretty shot, and I'm going to try it a couple more times before I lose the light. We sure hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you do, that you'll give us a thumbs up. And as always, if you want to know when we release videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button. And as always, we love hearing from you, so don't forget to leave us a question, a thought, or an idea. We appreciate hearing from you, and we answer all of them. And until next time, bye for now.